G'day, welcome back. This is the next video in my series on World Chess Championship blunders, and now we get to the 1990 match between Karpov and Kasparov. This is the fifth and last match between these great players, and this battle between both of them was the most amazing we've had in World Chess Championship history, and even the fifth match, which Kasparov won, and we won't see Karpov again at this level, was an amazing battle, which particularly game 20, which Kasparov won in the Roy Lopez, another one of their many long strategical battles in the Roy Lopez, just showed the standard that these players had. Now, in some ways, I'm just doing this video to fill the gap in. 1990, the blunders I'm going to show you are pretty trivial. We wouldn't even consider them blunders, actually, just mistakes in the normal course of play. But since I'm trying to do one video per World Chess Championship, that's what we'll be doing. Okay, so let's quickly go to the capture screen. I've got the Wikipedia page up there, and you see the final score there, 12.5, 11.5, although actually after game 22, the match was decided. This was an interesting one. First half was in New York, and the second half was in Lyon, so it's sort of a break in the middle. And in terms of players qualifying for it, you have the interzonals. Sachs short, we'll see him again. Spielman, Salov, Yartison, Portish, Korchnoi, still going, amazing, Elvest and Sirowan, and then they had sort of knockouts at the round of 16. And then you had the previous top four candidates, Sokolov, Timon, Virganian, and Yusupov being seated in there, and you can see that Karpov beat Yartison, Yusupov, and then Timon to progress to the match. Okay, so let's close that. You can see in that the match score there, that it was pretty even going through the game, actually, and Kasparov moved away a little bit at the end. I think it's a common theme that Karpov tends to get worn down in these matches and perform less well towards the end of them. And then you can see, we'll skip game 23. I'm going to quickly go over game 7, 17, and 20, which are the only games which have anything which are vaguely related to being a blunder. So let's do that pretty quickly. As I say, it'll be a quick video today. Now, so here's the position after move 26 in game 7, and the next move is Karpov just retook the pawn on f4. The next move is a blunder. Let's have a look at it. Queen a5. And the reason is a blunder is that, loose pieces drop off. There is a loose piece. Knight d5. We still haven't got to the end of it, actually. There's sort of multiple blunders. So Queen a5 was initial blunder. So now we're threatening taking the bishop with check, and the queen's also unprotected. So presumably Kasparov thought his bailout move was queen to c5 check. Now this is where king to h1. Have a look at the position. Simple technical study. There's a very easy. Okay, if you have a look at it, it's bishop to e3. So now, once again, we are attacking the bishop with a knight with check. It will also be protected by the rook now because the bishop has moved out of the way, and the queen is attacked. And then, actually, it's really interesting if you look at the continuation. Okay, so the computer like bishop e5, because now this counterpin both ways, you'd kind of think, well, if you take my queen, I'll take your queen, and so on. But that is not the end of the story. Knight to f4. Queen is still attacked. And now we've got another loose bishop. You can see that Kasparov's formation here had a lot of loose pieces. To hold the bishop, it's quite difficult because obviously the pawn's covering those squares. That holds the bishop, but then unfortunately the queen's actually trapped. I mean, the game would continue. It's only +3. However, if that didn't happen, let me go back to this position. Karpov missed that line. He played king h1. He still won the game. But I say that was bishop e3, much stronger. Okay. So let's move on to the next game, game number 17. And there you go. You can see the profile. The game was probably already lost, but there was a inaccuracy on move 33. So let's have a look at what the position looks like. You can see Karpov has the advantage. He's dominating the c file. Got this advanced pawn on d5, which is controlling the position, and white plays queen c5, increasing the pressure, controlling these dark squares around the queen side even more. It's just not a nice looking position. Perhaps at some stage maybe threatening to break through. And the move played h5 was a mistake. Have a quick look what the winning move here is. Totally winning move, I guess, is the right way of thinking about it. Bishop d6. Play bishop d6. Now the bishop has to get off the diagonal, and if you take, white's totally dominating and it'll break through. If you move the bishop back along this diagonal, bishop a1 is actually the game continuation, then you've now got the bishop on this amazing diagonal, so you control the dark squares, you can push the pawn to d6, rook can penetrate on either c7 or b6, totally lost, right? The move which was supposed to be played here was bishop d6, and by driving the queen away, which is just move up to c5, remember, by driving the queen back, then white cannot infiltrate as in that previous line. More of a fight if black had found bishop d6. Okay, so what we might spend a little bit more time on is game 20, simply because this is one of the most famous and best games. It's pretty much the only game I remember from this match. It's a Roy Lopez, and they've been battling in the Roy Lopez for yonks, and a lot of the strategic battles in the Roy Lopez between these two players is just outstanding. And you can see the game score there that Karpov was black, he was fighting, defending, and then the position just fell apart, and then he was totally lost. And then in the end, Kasparov actually bailed. He had possibility bailed out to a winning endgame, which he won. There are a couple of things you can actually look at. I'd suggest you have a look at. Daniel King, quite a few years ago, did a very good review of this game in full detail. A lot of insights into the strategies behind the Roy Lopez and all the games which have been played in this line, both between Kasparov and Karpov, but also Timon. Everybody was going into the Zaitsev line in quite detail. And the second thing I would say is there is a video on YouTube you can find with about the match. Kasparov's being interviewed, and he goes over this game in great detail, because this basically sealed the retention of the World Chess Championship. So have a look at both those videos. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the key position right about here. And you can see white has a pretty outstanding position. He's got his bishop raking across the board at the black king. And he's got his rook over there already. I mean, the rook had come rook lifted from over on the A file. Centralized knight, another knight ready to get in action, and the queen can obviously go with this diagonal. So, you know, a lot of good things for white. White is a pawn down. His king is very open and exposed. What black could do is he's got well-positioned knights in the center as well, and particularly what suggested here is we'll just move on. So knight g4, not the best move, but you know, might as well get the knight into action. And what has been suggested by Kasparov and others is that knight d3 is the line which just blocks out white's attack. He has to exchange off pieces, and that's supposed to be fairly even. But what Karpov did, which is supposed to blunder, is queen to e8. And now we get to, if you see that interview I was telling you about, a very chuffed Garry Kasparov was, you know, just obviously knight take h6 is just begging to be played, which is what he played, and it is a winning move. So he had it all right. And then I think I was just rewatch the Daniel King video. So there's a big long quote by Kasparov about not a shadow of a doubt that knight takes h6 was winning. And indeed it was. So knight takes h6, can't take back because it's pinned that way. Let's say take back with the rook. Let's just go over that line. Variation. I mean, I haven't analyzed it. I say go back and watch the Daniel King video on this Power Play Chess. It's excellent. Take the d pawn, open up an attack on the queen, threatening a deadly check there. So if the queen moves, stay to h5, g5, take d1, knight f7 check. King has to move there. Check. Can't even take back because it's pinned. Bishop covers that square, so you go back in the corner. And you take back queen. This is pinned. Still can't take the knight. Try and block. Check. King there. Bishop g6. Let's say he took the bishop. What's going to happen now? It's just made in two. Right. So you can see that that's just a sample line. Just to give an idea of what's going on here. Knight takes h6, totally winning. I'm not going to go through all the lines. It's a quick video. I don't really consider this a blunder by Karpov a couple of minutes ago. It was just an amazingly tense and tactical struggle. Okay, cool. So quick video today. Just wanted to get that out of the way. I've been a bit busy, so I haven't been able to do the videos I would have liked. And this was a really high quality match, but just wanted to sort of cover particularly that game 20. Hope you enjoyed that, and thank you very much for watching.